Are you worried your baby isn't gaining weight like they should? Do you lie awake at night wondering if you're doing something wrong with feeding? Here's the truth. Even the most loving, dedicated parents make feeding mistakes that can slow down your baby's growth, and most of the time, they have no idea they're doing it. I'm going to share 9 feeding mistakes that pediatricians see every single day, mistakes that could be affecting your baby's development right now. But here's the good news. Once you know what they are, they're incredibly easy to fix. Before we dive in, let me be clear. If you've made any of these mistakes, you're not a bad parent. You're a normal parent. Babies don't come with instruction manuals, and there's so much conflicting advice out there that it's easy to get confused. So take a deep breath. We're going to go through these 9 mistakes together, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to change to give your baby the best possible start in life. And make sure you stick around until the end, because mistake number 9 is the one that surprises parents the most. Let's get started. Mistake number 1 is starting solids at the wrong time. Many parents either rush to introduce solid foods before their baby is ready, or they wait too long because they're nervous about choking or allergies. Both can impact your baby's growth and development. Starting solids before 4 months can interfere with breastfeeding or formula feeding, and your baby's digestive system isn't mature enough to handle it. But waiting past 6 months means your baby might miss out on important nutrients like iron and zinc that breast milk and formula alone can't provide in sufficient amounts. So what's the fix? Watch for readiness signs, not the calendar. Your baby is ready for solids when they can sit up with minimal support, show interest in food, can bring objects to their mouth, and have lost the tongue thrust reflex. This usually happens around 6 months. Start with iron-rich foods like infant cereal, pureed meats, or beans. And remember, solids are a complement to breast milk or formula for the first year, not a replacement. Mistake number 2 is diluting formula to make it last longer. With the cost of formula these days, I understand the temptation to stretch it by adding extra water, but this is one of the most dangerous feeding mistakes you can make. Diluted formula doesn't give your baby enough calories, protein, or nutrients. Even worse, too much water can cause a serious condition called water intoxication, which can lead to seizures. So what's the fix? Always follow the mixing instructions on the formula package exactly. If you're struggling to afford formula, please don't dilute it. Instead, reach out to your pediatrician, WIC program, or local food banks. There are resources available to help. Your baby's health is too important to compromise. Mistake number 3 is forcing your baby to finish the bottle. We grew up hearing "finish your plate," so it's natural to want our babies to finish every ounce in their bottle. But babies are actually born knowing when they're full. When we override their natural hunger cues by pushing them to finish their bottle, we teach them to ignore their own bodies. This can set the stage for overeating and weight issues later in life. So what's the fix? Let your baby decide when they've had enough. Watch for cues that they're done, turning their head away, pushing the bottle away, closing their mouth, or getting distracted. It's okay if they don't finish. Babies' appetites vary from feeding to feeding, just like ours do. Some days they're hungrier than others, and that's completely normal. Mistake number 4 is putting cereal in the bottle. Maybe your mom or grandmother told you that adding cereal to your baby's bottle will help them sleep longer. While this seems logical, there's actually no scientific evidence that it works. What it does do is add unnecessary calories that can lead to unhealthy weight gain. It also increases the risk of choking and prevents your baby from learning how to eat solid foods properly from a spoon. So what's the fix? Keep bottles for breast milk or formula only. When your baby is ready for solids, around 6 months, feed them from a spoon. This helps them develop important oral motor skills and learn to regulate how much they eat. If your baby isn't sleeping through the night, talk to your pediatrician about age-appropriate sleep strategies instead. Mistake number 5 is giving juice too early or too often. Fruit juice seems healthy, right? It's from fruit. But the American Academy of Pediatrics says babies under 12 months shouldn't have any juice at all. Juice is high in sugar and low in fiber compared to whole fruit. It fills up tiny tummies without providing much nutrition, and it can lead to tooth decay, diarrhea, and excessive weight gain. Many toddlers who drink too much juice become picky eaters because they're never truly hungry for nutritious foods. So what's the fix? Skip juice entirely for babies. For toddlers over 1 year, limit juice to 4 ounces maximum per day, and always choose 100% fruit juice with no added sugars. Better yet, offer water and whole fruits instead. Your child will get more nutrients and learn to enjoy natural, unprocessed flavors.
Mistake number 6 is not offering enough iron-rich foods. Iron is crucial for brain development, and babies are born with enough iron stores to last only about 6 months. After that, they need to get iron from their diet. Many parents focus on fruits and vegetables when starting solids, but forget about iron-rich foods. Iron deficiency is the most common nutritional deficiency in young children, and it can cause developmental delays and anemia. So what's the fix? Make iron-rich foods a priority. Offer iron-fortified infant cereal, pureed meats like beef or chicken, beans, lentils, and tofu. If you're raising your baby vegetarian or vegan, talk to your pediatrician about iron supplementation. And here's a tip: pair iron-rich foods with vitamin C foods like tomatoes, bell peppers, or oranges to help your baby's body absorb more iron. Mistake number 7 is avoiding allergenic foods. For years, parents were told to avoid giving babies foods like peanuts, eggs, and fish until they were older. But research has completely reversed that advice. We now know that introducing these foods early, between 4 and 6 months, actually reduces the risk of developing food allergies. Many parents still avoid these foods out of fear, and ironically, that delay may increase allergy risk. So what's the fix? Introduce common allergens like peanuts, eggs, milk, fish, tree nuts, wheat, soy, and shellfish one at a time after your baby has tried a few other solid foods successfully. Start with small amounts and watch for reactions. Smooth peanut butter mixed into oatmeal, scrambled eggs, and well-cooked fish are great options. If your baby has severe eczema or an existing food allergy, talk to your pediatrician before introducing allergens. Mistake number 8 is making homemade formula. With formula shortages and high prices, some parents turn to homemade formula recipes they find online. Please don't do this. Commercial infant formula is heavily regulated and scientifically formulated to meet all of your baby's nutritional needs. Homemade formulas using cow's milk, goat's milk, or plant-based milks are missing critical nutrients and can cause serious health problems, including malnutrition, seizures, and even death. So what's the fix? Always use commercial infant formula that meets FDA standards. If you can't find your usual brand during shortages, ask your pediatrician which alternatives are safe to switch to. Your pediatrician can also help you find resources if cost is an issue. If you're interested in making your own baby food once your baby starts solids, that's wonderful, but formula is different. Your baby's formula must be commercially prepared. Mistake number 9 is ignoring your baby's hunger cues. This is the one that surprises parents the most, and it's the most important on this list. Many parents feed on a strict schedule, every 3 hours or whatever the books say, but every baby is different. Some babies genuinely need to eat more frequently, especially during growth spurts. When we ignore crying or rooting behaviors because it's not time yet, we're ignoring our baby's communication and potentially not giving them enough nutrition. On the flip side, some parents feed every time their baby fusses, even when they're not actually hungry. This can lead to overfeeding and discomfort. So what's the fix? Learn to recognize true hunger cues versus other needs. Hunger cues include rooting, bringing hands to mouth, smacking lips, and fussiness that won't be soothed other ways. Respond to these cues even if it hasn't been 3 hours, but also learn non-hunger cues. If your baby just ate an hour ago and is fussy, they might be tired, need a diaper change, or want comfort. It takes practice, but you'll get better at reading your unique baby over time. Use schedules as a guide, not a rule. Most babies naturally fall into a pattern, but that pattern might be different from what the books say, and that's okay. So there you have it, 9 feeding mistakes that can affect your baby's growth, and more importantly, how to fix every single one of them. Remember, parenting is a journey, not a test. If you recognized yourself in any of these mistakes, don't beat yourself up. What matters is what you do from this moment forward. You're watching this video because you care about giving your baby the best possible nutrition, and that makes you an amazing parent. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more evidence-based parenting advice. Drop a comment below and let me know which mistake surprised you the most, or if there are other feeding topics you'd like me to cover. And please, if you're ever worried about your baby's growth or feeding, reach out to your pediatrician. They're there to support you, not judge you. You've got this, and your baby is lucky to have you. I'll see you in the next video.